three things: detail, collaboration, and you have to be prepared to be relentless.
Anzac. What does that word really mean to us? It resounds in our hearts. It's iconic. It is a cornerstone of our cultural identity. We see Gallipoli as being about Australians and New Zealanders. But on that peninsula, there were British soldiers, French soldiers, Newfoundlanders, and of course the people of Turkey. There would be a tale of love and loss and grief and adventure for every body that was left on that beach in those trenches. Andrew Anastasius and Andrew Knight are two Melbourne writers. And in the course of researching something else, Andrew Anastasius came across a letter from a man called Cyril Hughes of the Imperial War Graves Unit. Now, in that letter was an intriguing line, a line that exploded in the imaginations of the writers and became a script. The Water Diviner. It's 1919, 4 years after the Battle of Gallipoli. A man goes on a journey to retrieve the bones of his three sons. Right from the first reading, I knew I was having a response to this script that was different. Yes, I could see the character clearly. Yes, I was making notes on behalf of the character, but I was actually visualizing the entire story as I read it. Bringing together the cast was a very interesting thing. And I was very lucky with a number of the young Australian actors. Jai Courtney.
I'm sorry that you can't stay.
When you work with someone who you've admired for a long time, you do have that moment at some point on set where you're like, yep, this is happening, yep, we're both in character, we're saying lines to each other, that's Russell Crowe, and we're in a movie. That's pretty cool.
The three sons, played by Ryan Corr, Ben O'Toole, and James Fraser. All three of those boys were cast out of the workshop day that I did. Each and every one of you is a spectacular actor. If I had this many roles, I'd just straight away now give them to you. The thing is, though, part of our job is always going to be competition. Part of the job, the process of the job is always going into audition situations, you know. The only thing that's going to make the difference between you and the next guy is how ambitious you are, how much you're prepared to work.
It was the most arduous audition process I've ever been through as an actor. It really was. It was 9 stages, and I think Russ really wanted to test our ability to sort of go with what he was asking, because he knew he'd be asking a lot from us.
I turned up there at 104 kilos and he said, you've got to get down to 92. I said, you're insane.
I always said, yeah, I'm a fit guy, yeah. And it's like, oh, no, I don't do that.
Warming up. He said that this is a warm-up. And I said, no, man, it's a burnout, not warm-up.
We've pushed our bodies as far as they will willingly go and unwillingly.
Well, what I try and do with this sort of stuff, and I do it for myself when I'm prepping as an actor for a film, is you stack your days, because obviously when you're shooting, your days are long.
Not 30, not 40, 50 kilometers.
The first thing Russell said to me, can you ride a horse? And I said, yes. I think he knew that I was lying to him.
My name's Graham Ware. I'm a 4th generation horse trainer for film and television. We've started with some actors that have had very little previous experience. We've worked pretty consistently with them individually and as a group. Throughout the last 10 days, they've progressed leaps and bounds ahead of what I even expected. We did one shot with the 3 boys that had to really gallop their horses fast.
It's very frightening riding an animal towards thousands and thousands of dollars worth of film equipment.
For those guys to step up to that in such a short time gives me a bit of a sense of achievement.
The thing that resounded with me when I first read the script was the Turkish perspective. I knew the number of Australian and New Zealand dead, but I didn't know the number of Turkish dead.
We lost 70,000 men here at Çanakkale.
It was very interesting for me getting the opportunity to work with some very experienced Turkish actors. Yilmaz Erdogan was absolutely certain that he should play the role of Hassan, and he was right.
Why change everything for one father who can't stay put?
Because he's the only father who came looking.
For the role of Jamal, I had to pursue Cem Yilmaz because he didn't see himself in that role.
Nobody will tell me what prison camp they sent my son Arthur to.
But then he had such wonderful insight as to what was in balance with the character and pointed out to me things that the character needed. And that's when you know the actor is engaged.
You can easily create a legend, made-up legend out of every war story, but it's not that. It's the real characters, real situations, real struggle. This film gonna be the most realistic Çanakkale story.
Olga Kurylenko was a revelation to me. Her name came up in a few conversations, so I went to see it. And it was one of those things where I just knew that she was the right person. I think people are going to be excited by the depth of her performance in this film.
It is not easy to marry for love here.
Russell is wonderful as a director. I think it's because he's an actor. He gives great direction. When he gives me directions, I don't just hear them, I can feel them.
My character's name is Orhan. He's Turkish. He's always happy, even though he's lost his dad, because he has hope that he's still alive. I really struggled when I had to do this crying scene, but Russell helped me a lot. He gave me tips and advice.
We've gone through the process of the casting. We've done the preparation period, and now there's the actual reality. Where are you going to shoot this story?
Everyone knows, oh yeah, South Australia, at the end of summer, it's going to be pretty hot, but I don't think anyone was prepared for how hot.
We've had a bit of 48 degrees, we've had a bit of cyclones and wind and dust.
And I get the idea, this is a circle. Heat, wind, storm, rain, heat, wind, storm, rain.
Yeah, it's good, getting better.
I think the word that's continuing to come to mind is relentless.
Well, I mean, Russell is an actor we don't need to talk about, really. I mean, anyone can win an Oscar.
If you're working with an actor who's directing you, they could really be watching you, which would make you think, oh my God, they're watching what I'm doing rather than being engaged in the scene itself. And I didn't feel that at all.
Steadicam coming down with the boys, crane descending with the boys,
burning directly on line for the explosion.
That trench has been making your lives hell for a long time now, right? You got to keep saying, be brave, boys, be brave.
Oh, that's great.
I'm here to take you on a guided tour of the makeup truck.
This is Dry Courtney's moustache. Can I touch that for a second? Yeah, you can touch that.
This project started like this. They first hired the mustache and put the actor on it.
Russell wanted the soldiers to be really authentic and not a polished sort of soldier look. They're quite weather beaten and quite raw looking.
This job's been incredibly research-based. The reference areas include, the Australian Army Anzacs during the time of Gallipoli, the Ottoman Army, which is very, very complicated.
Okay, it's radio silence here. About to go into a big take here. Look over this way. We've got all these Greeks going to come up. Guns firing.
Action!
The task is to create the battle scenes of guys getting shot, falling over, getting blown up, just trying to find the balance between reality and what's visually working for the camera and maintain a reality on the way people die rather than big reactions. Big reactions aren't real.
We try to prepare all the action beats. We get the script and we break it down and try to support the actor on his vision.
He turns up on the inside of you, right? Something like that. Sure.
We don't want to bring any of this century into it. We want to make sure that all the stunts and action looks real for that period.
The machine gun starts and you run. Blah, 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 blah. You go down.
It was a different time and a different war. There was a lot more hand-to-hand stuff. People being shot at close range. We've got two trenches that aren't that far apart, and the reality is a lot of people died.
These guys are popping up out of the trench. They're advancing forward, and as they do, we have a couple of stunties going down with explosions, and they're actually tripping wires that have been set up as booby traps. And the actors that I'm working with right now, these young kids, they're so physical. It makes it easy on a stunt coordinator to work with them.
I might bayonet you on my way through.
My role as a train driver. After many attempts to put up another stunt performer, Russell kept on looking going, I think it's you. Acting is like, I'd rather get hit by a motor car than having even one line of dialogue.
My name is Thel Reed. I'm the weapons authority for Mr. Crow's movie. My job is, teaching actors how to be safe with their guns, look authentic with their guns, whatever era it is. I'm pretty much into detail and authenticity, so I'm really a stickler on that. We got all the proper stuff for Gallipoli 1915. The Enfield rifles 303s that the Anzac troops used. We had the Turkish Mauser the Turkish soldiers used. The Major's gun. C-96 Mauser, 10 shots, 30 caliber Luger. Way ahead of his time. It's hot, the weapon is hot. They're quick studies, all these guys are, and that was really impressive. And they looked the part of Australian soldiers in 1915.
I'm extremely weary. And that word keeps coming back. Relentless. Relentless. Relentless.
It's about, 1:30, right now? And then we're going to spend the next few hours cleaning all our gear and getting it ready to send over to Turkey.
I've got the illustrious role of a rabbit vendor in the streets of old Istanbul, and it's a role that I take on with great seriousness and great respect. Cheerio to all the Rabbitohs supporters out there. I'll do you proud.
We did a shot on the Bosphorus that we imagined as being this glorious golden orb shining behind the towers of the Blue Mosque. And we got it for real. We were the first feature film crew to be able to shoot inside the Blue Mosque. Some guys are praying, some guys have finished praying, you're just sitting having a think. It's not a formal prayer time. Put them here. Thank you very much. Could you just move to your right about 8 inches? Let's shoot. And so we just got to keep pushing forward. Got to stay relentless.
So we gonna do it?
Let's make a movie.
Let's rock and roll.
B Mark?
We're here in Fethiye, or just nearby, and it's one of the most beautiful places I've seen.
Update on the score, please. 22-8. I think we can call that a win for the mighty South Sydney Rabbitohs.
I haven't read the claims in the paper that we party hard. I don't know where they're sourcing their information, but it's, you know, it's probably pretty reliable.
Hey, Guntis, hit that other song. Nice and loud.
Still flexible, call it wordplay, yoga, food for thought, my attitude bipolar, low end frequencies, bounce back like solar.
Plays music in between takes and stuff, it's really great, gets in the mood, you can just... Best dancing I've ever seen.
Tonight, we have a huge party, and it will be my absolute pleasure to buy you dinner, buy you a drink, and thank you very much for a great week.
Injunction, disrespect the square, earn a fatal repercussion. New York's turned up, bring the ruckus. You in the mix.
We'll see you next time. Good night.
As he would shoot, I'd cut the scenes together. He'd be sort of very collaborative with his feedback. He'd say he likes this, or he had something different in mind for that. Working on any period film, there's always an element of visual effects involved, taking out telegraph poles and signs of modern life, computer-generated ships and computer-generated trains, explosions needed to be enhanced and that sort of thing.
Scoring movies in the 21st century is very much what we call a hybrid music production process, where we're combining acoustic instruments like violins, violas, cellos, double basses, woodwinds and brass, and percussion with synthesized elements and virtual instruments.
One of the most important scenes where you see the battlefield of Gallipoli, they had Ottoman marching bands, the meter bands, and apparently you could hear them from up to 1 kilometre away and you'd run.
That's 2 years of thought. Now it's done. I have to do this again. I have to make another movie. The sooner the better. There it is. 3 things. Detail. Collaboration. And you have to be prepared to be relentless.
Prince Hussein asked the man why the carpet he wished to sell was so expensive.
Come on, cuddle up! What's the magic word? The one that makes the carpet fly? Tengu! That's it, Tengu!
My prince, whoever sits on this carpet, may be transported through the air in an instant.
All right, boys, let's get out of here, all together! Tengu!
It was my job to steer my boys to manhood, and I failed them.
So you can find water, but you can't even find your own children.
3 sons killed. That was quite an ordeal for Eliza.
I'll find them, love. I'll find them and I'll bring them home to you.
Your guidebook is out of date.
I didn't come here to sightsee. I'm on my way to Gallipoli.
There's nothing there but ghosts.
Surely you were told this is a restricted zone. Oh, it's not safe. I'm sorry, but you can't stay.
Maybe we could help him.
You know what the chances of finding his boys are.
He's the only father who came looking.
Who's the Turk?
Hassan the assassin.
Wiped out half my battalion.
We found your sons, Edward and Henry. How on God's earth did you know they'd be there? Arthur,
Look after me brothers and keep my bloody head down. If this is your son, he was taken prisoner. He did not die here.
So he's alive?
I don't know.
But you hope.
Hope's a necessity where I come from.
The camps are gone. Go home, Mr. Connor.
Nobody will tell me what prison camp they sent Arthur to.
I will ride with you.
I promised their mother I would find them and bring them home.
I measure a man by how much he loves his children, not by what the world has done to them.
If you do find your son, what will you say to him?